G'day guys, welcome to PBHQ Live. This is episode number 370. I'm Dwayne Nichols and I have heaps of paintball news to get through here in Australia and a little bit of stuff based out of the US off the back of the NXL World Cup last week, as well as some European NXL dates, events coming up, heaps of stuff to talk about, and we're going to crack right on with it. If you are checking out this episode of the show, make sure you leave a comment and let me know who you are and where you're watching from. If you haven't already, hit the thumbs up, subscribe on the YouTube channel as well. Make sure you like this and share it around so that everybody else can see PBHQ and what's going on. If you keep an eye over on the side of your screen over here, you'll see the upcoming dates here in Australia for the remainder of this year, as well as the TXBL in Thailand. So a little bit going on there. But to begin the show, I've got a special little video this week from paintballshop.com. They're the major sponsor of this show. They advertise a whole bunch of paintball products over the course of the year. Huge discounts, all sorts of things, everything that they carry. And now a new line of products that they're carrying is the Epoch Skout Air Rifles. So these air rifles are essentially, and if I was to steal a line from Adam Connolly, it's essentially the real steel version of the TM40 or a TM40 that can kill things. If you're looking to get yourself an air rifle, well, the guys from paintballshop.com are now importing these. They're doing all the service work and everything. So check out and have a quick look at these Skout Air Rifles.
Welcome to the Epic Experience. Firing mode. Limit. Battery. Fire timer on.
Yeah, so there you have it. And I can only talk for myself as a paintball field owner. In the last couple of years, the amount of inquiry we've been getting for people to fill their air rifle tanks has really stepped up. So I guess air rifles, even though it's something that I'm not particularly interested in myself, I'm seeing more of it. It is obviously becoming more popular. So if that's something you're looking to get into, obviously you need to have the relevant licenses in your state or territory. But they're available at paintballshop.com now. Head over to the website, check them out. A heap of cool colors. Just everything about these really interests me. I've got a bit of an interest in to see how they go, because go back 5 years ago, air rifles, you essentially didn't hear about them at all. And in the last couple of years, I'm getting guys out probably every month now getting their tanks filled for air rifles. So I'm curious to see how it all plays out. And they're up at paintballshop.com. In the world of paintball again, back with the NXL, they have announced, and this was, I knew of this last week and didn't really mention it on the show, or at least didn't mention it in detail, that the 2024 NXL upgrade kit, and it says conceived to improve the game there, which I could maybe make a little bit of an argument against, but there will be 8 snake beams in the 2024 layouts. But what I should say, rather than there will be 8, is there will be 8 additional snake beams in the 2024 field layout. So rather than the 6 that are currently available to field designers and field owners, if you are looking to upgrade your kit to what will be used in 2024, you will need to buy an additional 8 snake beams for your field. A field layout might look something like this with 14 snake bunkers. So 2 snakes running down the left-hand side of the image there, as well as a couple of snake beams over in the Dorito side. I've played a lot of snake, started out playing there most of the time, and tend to play the 2 on the snake side when I'm out and playing. So spent a lot of time in there. I like the snake beams. I like the ability to get down low and pop up on the other side of the field to eliminate players. All of those things are good, but my main grief with this is that adding 8 additional bunkers to a field that is already pretty full of bunkers is, it just seems like a bit much. If they added 8 snake beams and removed 6 something else, or removed 2 of the large 6 barricades that they have through the center of the field, the bricks and the wings, yeah, I think we're just getting to a point where it's really congested on the field, and adding 8 additional snake bunkers will definitely not help that. I guess we'll wait and see how it plays out after a couple of events. But first glance, not a huge fan. Always open to trying it out and see how it plays out. Feel again for field owners, much like myself, most field owners, it is very difficult to get together, particularly here in Australia, the funding and the finance to buy a field based on how little they get used for events and trainings here in Australia when compared with elsewhere in the world. Then to go and have to buy an additional 8 bunkers every year or two when they change things, yeah, it's tough for field owners. So just another perspective on that. Not only do I think as a player that the 8 extra bunkers probably aren't necessary for a field owner, tough again if you're trying to keep up with what the NXL are doing elsewhere in the world. Speaking of elsewhere in the world, good segue that I really wasn't planning on mentioning there. The NXL Europe schedule has been announced for next year. So they're starting out in Portugal, and the interesting thing that I've seen out of that is that they've also included the ICPL, the 10v10, in the Portugal event during May, and then back to the UK in July, and finally finishing up in France at the end of August and the beginning of September. 3 events only in the European schedule. That leaves November free for those European teams who make their way over to NXL World Cup in Florida at the end of the year. It looks as though the first couple of events will only be Pro, Semi-Pro, and the WNXL, and then their European Championship event in France will also include 7v7, 3v3. The ICPL will be returning again, as well as Divisions 2 through 4 in Expal. So a bigger event for the final one at the end of August in Europe. So I mentioned last week, if you're looking to head out to the NXL US, their dates have been announced in advance for the furthest in advance they ever have at the end of World Cup. So that's great if you're looking to go to the US, or if you're looking to take a European trip, escape the Australian winter and head to Europe in their summer, or you've got some dates there to look forward to as well. Other off-season news is that the silly season has begun. The first couple of major names that have made their way into free agency would be Corey Field and Paddy Gleason from the Ironmen. It appears as though, yet again, the Ironmen are rebuilding for next season. They've gone through 3 or 4 rebuilds in the last couple of years. This was a team that as recently as 2019 or 2020 won an event, and since then they have done nothing but miss Sundays and not reach expectations. Dye obviously wouldn't be happy with that. This is their factory team. One of the richest sort of histories in professional paintball is the Ironmen. So hopefully they get their stuff together, get a solid roster together for next year, and continue to improve. On the WNXL side of things, Destiny will be selling their pro spot. They have confirmed that that is the case. And whilst the Latin Saints have been relegated, and they will be leaving the pro division, which opens up a spot for Paintball Fit, who won all 5 semi-pro events. Don't be surprised if a couple of existing pro teams in the men's game also sell their pro spots. There's murmurings of a couple of different teams that might be interested in doing just that. There is also the rumor that Blast Camp, who finished second in all semi-pro events, are really keen to buy a spot. So that's happening. There is also a bit of a rumor around and a bit of chatter around Impact and Bart saving some money on the money that he's been pouring into Impact over the years. One of the best funded teams in the NXL going on 10 years now. So there's a rumor that Bart might be stepping that back a little bit, that Dave Baines might be taking a bigger interest in the team as well. So I'm not sure how that will play out. And naturally, I think once you see a couple of people like Corey Field, Paddy go to free agency, soon enough a team's going to announce picking them up. A lot of these players that enter free agency, it's sort of like a loose term. Most of them have an idea of where they're going prior to announcing that. They'll find themselves a home through speaking with friends or other teams at events like World Cup or at trainings and leading up to World Cup. And then if you've been on a team like the Ironmen, not getting as many spins as you would perhaps like, the team underperforming, well, you're going to find your way onto a team where your value might be used better. It's like once it all happens, a couple of spots. So Paddy might end up somewhere, and that opens up a hole where someone from that team realizes that they might not get as many spins, and it all just becomes circular. Teams start dropping players and picking up players like crazy. It may not be quite so hectic between now and, say, Christmas or the New Year, but once January rolls around, it'll be full noise. There'll be players going every which way from all teams, and I'm keen to see how it will all shake out. Usually at the start of the show, I mention the major sponsors being paintballshop.com, which I already did, and I mentioned Gladiator. Well, I have not mentioned Gladiator so far with the show for today, and the reason is if I mentioned them early, it was a bit of a spoiler for later here in the show, and that is because they wanted to congratulate the Wicked Warriors on their first place at the semi-pro event at Super Sevens. Wicked Warriors not only won first place at the Masters, but they won the semi-pro series. So congratulations to those guys on a great season and another event win. I've got the full results here, a little bit more in depth on that photo. So the Wicked Warriors got the win, Shenanigans second place, Bitchin third, and the MVP for the event from Shenanigans, in fact, was John O'Collins from Heartbreak Ridge Paintball. Apparently had an unreal day. There was some footage getting around of him making a couple of run-throughs and that type of thing, which is definitely his style. I've seen him playing a few events here in Wagga over the last couple of years. So congratulations to Jono on getting the MVP award. He kind of bragged about the fact that he did no training in the lead up to the event and still went out there, got a second place and the MVP award. But yeah, the Wicked Assassins, or the Wicked Warriors, big shout out to those guys on their series win, their event win, and a thank you to those guys. Also, if you've been observant, up the back of the show here, a Wicked Assassins jersey is up in the background, and that is because earlier this week I got a knock on the door and the mailman handed me a parcel that I was not expecting, which included a personalized Wicked Assassins jersey. So thank you very much to those guys for doing that. You didn't have to do that. I really do appreciate it. And to all the teams that send me Adelaide Bounty Hunters coming off a win in the AMSAT Super Sevens the previous week. I'm always happy to display your stuff up in the background of the show, and I'm very thankful for your continued support of PBHQ. I'll be interested to see if the Wicked Warriors make their way up into the Pro Division this year. I believe that the Wicked Assassins will be having a pro presence this weekend. I'm not sure to sort of which extent that is, but we'll talk about that in just a little bit. But that wraps up the AMS and semi-pro divisions for 2023 at Super Sevens. Congratulations to everyone on another big year. And the pro division, so this photo of SWAT was after they won round 2 in May. Now, there was not a round 3 for the pro division. They didn't have the teams for pro division at round 3, so it was only amateur and semi-pro for that particular round. But pro is back this Sunday, 5 teams competing, Sunday only event. SWAT and Eskimo Brothers, who have each taken 1 victory from the 2 events this year, they will be competing this weekend against one another. And essentially, whether one of those 2 teams wins the event or not, one of those 2 teams will win the series title. It just depends on whether whoever finishes higher between those 2 teams. And the pro MVP will be winning a Planet Eclipse Ether 3M. So the Ether 3, the mechanical version of the Ether 3, will go to the pro MVP. I'm not sure who will be voting on that. Perhaps Mike and Jamie up in the booth doing the commentary on the live stream, I would guess. Oh, and with John O'Collins winning that in semi-pro, he won a full Freak kit. So like the full barrel backs, the whole kit that you can get from Freak was his prize for being the MVP in the semi-pro division. So something cool that they have added for the Masters at Super Sevens is a pro MVP prize. So again, little congratulations to the people that have taken those out, and best of luck to everyone playing in the Super Sevens Pro Division this weekend. Wanted to quickly finish with, the year is wrapping up, and at this point you cannot sign up to the Patreon to win the last 2 prizes of the year, because for the November and December prizes you needed to be signed up by February 10th and remain signed up for the entirety of the year. So we're down to the last couple, and the Carbon SC Pro bottoms. Unfortunately, last week's show was cut off. My live stream dropped right at the time that I was about to draw those, and I didn't realize that had dropped out at the time. Went through and did the draw, noticed that it had dropped out, and I posted up the photos that Lachlan from PPG, who was out playing in the semi-pro division over the weekend, was the winner of those Carbon SC Pro Bottom pants. Now, I have arranged them. They are coming out from Carbon directly to his door. They should be arriving in a couple of weeks' time for him. So congratulations to Lachlan, and I apologize that dropped out from the stream last week. It was not my intention, of course, but that's just the way these things go sometimes. So thank you, everybody, for checking out tonight's episode of the show. I hope you'll be able to watch some Super 7s over the weekend for the Pro Division. And join me again next Monday. If you haven't already, hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the share button. And I'll see you next Monday. Bye.